Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. This is part one of a new video series. Today, we're going to talk about a topic called home. It's just the definition of it. Um, what is home to you? You know, that's kind of like the main basis of it. So, to some people, home is like a place where their family and loved ones are. To some people, home is just like a place of peace and relaxation. To some people, home is what they make of it, like a place they actually build, where their family that they have ends up living. Um, and according to the dictionary, home is a place where one lives permanently, especially as a member of a family or household. Um, I don't know, it's pretty standard. It says especially as a member of a family or household because that's what the majority of people kind of related to be. But I personally find home to be more of a mental state for me. Um, it's literally like the opposite, or it just doesn't include a lot of the things that I defined it as for others. Because throughout life, I've always kind of been pushed into being something that I wasn't. When I was younger, being in school, um, you know, being around people in order to have friends, you couldn't really show intelligence. If you showed intelligence, people took it the wrong way and they get offended. I even, have that problem to this day where I try to communicate with people and they take words the wrong way because they just kind of don't know what they mean. Um, or they have their own definition of it that has nothing to do with what I meant. So it causes me to kind of shut down and not even talk to certain people. Then you go, as you get older, you start to, get a job where you have to do what the company wants you to do. They want you to act a certain way. They want you to talk a certain way. They want you to dress a certain way. And so you do it because they're paying you to do it. But out of doing it, 5 days out of the week, out of habit, it essentially becomes a part of you and what you kind of like adopt as a version of you. Um, I also joined the military, so that's where that's a whole different demographic of people in a sense. So you're around a lot of different people, from a lot of different places. Um, and you kind of have to pull back even more and be a person that everybody gets along with, especially once you get put into a leadership position. And the way the world's going now, I mean, you kind of got to step on eggshells everywhere you go. I mean, because you might say the wrong word and offend the wrong person. I mean, everybody uses words differently, and nobody's really putting in time to understand each other, which kind of causes me to never really feel at home because home is a place of comfort, a place where you can kind of go and feel loved. I never really had like that, like that family aspect of, being at home and I don't know, doing like typical stuff that families do, game night, Taco Tuesday, and all that. Um, you know, never really had that, so I never really like resonated with that either. Um, and then with people, as you go through life, because all those different filters you put over yourself, you don't really have like a place where you can completely be comfortable. And most of my life, I kind of been moving around from place to place anyway, so I never really felt too much of an attachment to a physical location either. Um, so to me, like, home is kind of synonymous with being happy. So throughout all of those experiences, I haven't truly been able to just release and let 100% of myself out. So I haven't really been happy because I've been subduing myself and essentially like submitting to a version of me that isn't even really me. Um, So for me, being home is being able to express myself completely and wholeheartedly without having to worry about offending somebody, without having to worry about, um, anything, nothing at all. Just being able to be me, stop caring about what other people think. Also, to be able to have control over my time, so I'm not stressing out, adding stress in order to accomplish a goal that, in all honesty, I'm gonna have to do every day, like paying bills. Home for me is where I can kind of lose myself, where I can get lost in what I love doing without having to worry about anything. So for me, that's art. So when I'm creating art, it doesn't really matter where I am, it doesn't matter who's around, like nothing else matters. All that matters is that art. Because if you were to tie in flesh and blood, you're born into, you know? So to me, like friends and family don't really identify home for me, because it gets to where, friends are essentially your chosen family. So you pick and choose the people that you're, able to be around. But at the end of the day, a lot of people have their own agenda. So, I'm exhausted with trying to figure out why people are around me. But the current group of friends that I'm around, I've known these people for like less than 6 months, and I've never been around that many people that I could just be myself, and everybody's cool with it. They seem to like it. That seems to be a place of happiness for me, but to a degree, it's still a little exhausting because you have to give energy, to be around people. So that still kind of pulls me away a little bit, because it's not somewhere where I can just be, which is what home is. Home is somewhere where you don't really get tired of anything. If anything, it's where you recharge. So I really find home to be a mental space for me, and not a physical place, not an emotional place that's tied to anybody. Not a logical place that's tied to any kind of material thing. It's just where I can just let go and not worry about anything. I can grab a pencil or a pen or a paintbrush and approach a blank canvas or a piece of paper and get completely lost in it. Look up 3 hours later and I feel great. That's home for me, so for that amount of time where I'm creating something new, that's home for me. So that's why art is pretty big for me, because it's home. So what's home to you?